It is time for Litter Media Live on this Friday, and welcome to a Friday morning. I'm Dan Ramey, alongside with the icon, Mike Smith.
The icon.
We're jumping into a new month after today.
Yeah.
And it'll be April Fool's Day, no fooling. And perhaps we can make that our radio bit today. A little something we learned later in our radio careers, something we needed to avoid. You're like sitting really close to me today.
I like
you.
you.
Is there something about
I like
that
you,
today?
Dan. I got to take you back to get your car, so we might as well get you.
Scooch over, mister. There's no console between us.
I got this thing blocking me off down here under the table, so. It's a gnome down there. Get out of there, you! You're cramping my style.
Oh.
You have a gnome in your yard? I didn't notice when I was down there before.
No.
Okay. I don't either.
No gnomes.
No gnomes.
I do, though. I think we do have a gnome, and I think it was Cincinnati Reds gnome that we got from the Reds Radio Network. I think it's on a bookshelf at the house.
I must have missed out on that prize package.
Yeah, it's right there next to Joey Votto, his bobblehead. Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us today. We will have a radio bit that we'll share with you at the end of the show. For those of you that remember our radio show all those days years ago. It's been 6 years?
You left in 17. Yeah. I came down here in 21.
Right.
So I was laid off in 16.
Well, I lost you in 2016. So
when he keeps saying he lost me, it's like he took me to town and dropped me off and never picked me back up. So
they didn't suggest that as a possibility, but it could have been. I could have driven him to the lunch bus one day, and one of the days in which he forgot his wallet.
Yeah, that only happened once
I could
or
just
twice.
leave him stranded.
It only happened once or twice.
All right, let's get underway with what we have to share with you. We've got a bunch of news to share, including some late-breaking news that we'll have for you here in just a moment. But first, we want to take a look at our weather, which, here we go, another opportunity for storms.
You know, I don't even think we need to read the weather. We just need to say it's Friday. Here it comes again. Yeah, we've got some severe weather possible late this evening into early Saturday morning. As you can see from the yellow part of the map, that's southwest Ohio. That's the Cincinnati-Dayton area. We in the Scioto Valley would be in the green section. But I just checked another map before we came on, and they're talking about wind gusts of over 50 miles per hour again for us overnight tonight in the early morning hours. And isolated tornadoes are not out of the question.
And as you can see from the map here, it's all moving from the north. Or it's moving north from the south.
From the south, right.
Yes.
So we think it'll straighten up a bit on Sunday, but we'll have to weather the storm again through Saturday.
Have you flown a kite this month?
You know, I can't even tell you the last time I flew a kite. It's probably been in my teenage years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
We didn't have a kite for... After Dan Jr. was about 13, I think, he just didn't want to fly one in his teenage years. And then last year I bought a kite for my granddaughter. And that's the first time I'd flown a kite since Danny was a little guy. So that's been 30 years maybe.
And full disclosure, if we got one for Sarah, I'm pretty sure it was Mom that was flying it for her, not me. I think they were worried I'd get the string tied around my neck or something. There he goes.
I always wanted to see how high I could get it to go up in there. And then you forget about the fact that maybe you should have something on there for planes going by.
The ones you see down at the beach, those are fun to watch.
Oh,
on the beach, the wind's so strong that they get it going. But those are heavy-duty kites.
A former boss of mine at Sunny 95 used to do that. He would go to the beach, I believe in Delaware, and he had these big box kites. And he said, you got to go. You got to check this out sometime. It was so much work just hearing him talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Not me. But he said, oh, yeah, you dig holes into the sand and you kind of put yourself in there and just rear back on them and try to. And I'm like, yeah, have fun.
Dan had to take a nap just after hearing him tell about it.
That's right. Worked up a sweat just hearing the story. All right, coming up, we've worked up a sweat to put together some news for you, and sports, that is on the way here momentarily. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. If you've got a cleanup job going on at your place of business or your residence, maybe you own some property and you're cleaning out one of the homes, 740-253-8389 is the number to call for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. They'll bring a dumpster to you, you fill it up, and then they'll haul it all away for you. And in some instances, they'll do the cleanup for you too. 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. Time to take a look at the news topics of the day, and we start off with some traffic news and notes.
Yeah, this coming to us before going on the air today. City of Chillicothe is taking a comprehensive approach to slowing traffic and increasing safety on target neighborhood streets. Through a collaborative effort between Chillicothe Police, Planning, and Service Departments, the city is looking to address recurring dangerous speeding problems on South Watt Street, Allen Avenue, Pyatt Avenue, and Tritscheller Road in Yoctangi Park. The program seeks to create a long-term solution that will reduce speeding and increase safety for all users, regardless of the mode of transportation.
And here are some of the suggestions of possibilities. You're looking at traffic circles, kind of roundabouts, I assume. Also speed bumps. We're all familiar with speed bumps. These are the larger variety there. Chicanes, we've seen those during the road course races for IndyCar and stock car racing, and a couple of other potentials for you. These are bump outs. It's kind of like a curb extending you out to keep you away from the sidewalk. And then lane narrowing, and that brings in some greenery, as you can see there, suggested with trees and all. But for a limited time, you've got till April 15th, I believe it is, to weigh in on some of this. They're going to collect data from everyone to find out what the best mode might be on this. And as Mike mentioned, South Watt Street, Allen Avenue, Pyatt Avenue, and Tritscheller Road in Yoctangi Park. If you've never wondered where those were or never been there before, here's what they look like. This is what you'll see on the survey. So what traffic safety issues do you commonly experience on South Watt Street north of the railroad tracks? That's one of the survey questions. Another is what traffic safety issues do you commonly experience on Allen Avenue at the intersection between Yaples and Worthington? Have you been on some of these streets? Pyatt Avenue. What traffic safety issues do you commonly experience there, just north of Allen Avenue, and also looking for your commonly experienced traffic issues on Yoctangi Park there at Tritscheller Road. For people that didn't know, that's the name of the road that after you go into Yoctangi Park, we're all familiar with Enderlin Circle, but it is Tritscheller Road. It takes you over towards the YMCA from the beginning of the south end of the park there.
Yeah, I never knew that was the name.
Yeah. So even Mike learned something this morning.
I did.
So you've got till April 15th, and you've got the link, I believe, in our story where people can go and take that survey.
Also in the news today, bridle trails on Ohio State Forest and all-purpose vehicle areas at Pike, Richland Furnace, and Perry State Forest that were closed for the winter season reopen tomorrow, according to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Forestry. Now, the bridle trails actually reopen tomorrow. The APV areas of Pike State Forest, for example, won't reopen until April the 7th. View, vote, and promote the arts of Pickaway County high schools during April. The Best of Pickaway County will feature 2 art contests, individual artist awards, and a school award for the school district with the most votes. Individual contests will be judged by 3 judges and will take place during the first 2 weeks of the show. After evaluation, pieces will be displayed with their ribbons, and a prize ceremony will be held the last weekend. Schools can receive votes by donations. 1 bill equals 1 vote, regardless of denomination. Contest runs through the month of April at the Arts Around Gallery, which is at 135 West Main Street in Circleville.
Which has the Ted Lewis Museum in it, if you're wondering.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, April 1st, April Fool's Day, will be the spring opening Take Back the Strip cruise night from 5 to 9 p.m. with donations of dog food and treats, cat food and treats, new pet toys, or cash donations. That'll be accepted from 5 to 8 p.m., but the whole cruise night is 5 to 9. Just look for the gals in purple. They'll be collecting the donations. 100% of cash donations will be used to purchase pet food for those in need in Pickaway County. And again, this Take Back the Strip, they do that once a month, and that's in downtown Circleville.
I like
right?
that theme there, 3 pits and a lady.
Yeah, yeah. It goes right by the courthouse.
Why did they call it Gladys Knight in the Pits?
Could, yeah. They're probably afraid you wanted a royalty off the name if they took your idea. The Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles has announced that it will issue refunds to disabled veterans who erroneously paid for specialty license plates that should have been provided at no charge. The BMV recently determined that it did not implement a change in Ohio law that allows certain disabled veterans to receive up to 2 free disabled veteran license plates and or military license plates. The BMV estimates that nearly 2,000 individuals were improperly charged for these license plates, as well as fees and taxes, since the law went into effect in October of 2019. Mark your calendar to attend a free Pickaway County Community FFA Breakfast April 4th, sponsored by the Circleville, Logan Elm, and Westfall chapters. Donations will be accepted for entrance, and to get more information, that's at Pickaway Ross CTC. In-Demand Jobs Week is the statewide celebration of the jobs, industries, and skills that are in demand in the state of Ohio. Community leaders statewide are encouraged to partner in planning engaging events and activities that will inspire excitement and awareness among students and job seekers. Now, down in Pike County at Ohio Means Jobs, this will take place. It's a week-long observance, but they have an in-demand job day Friday, May the 5th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Ohio Means Jobs Career Center on Market Street in Piketon. Some events at the Majestic Theater this weekend we want you to take part in if you're wanting to be entertained. And who doesn't want to hear these guys, huh?
McGuffey Lane. John Schwab been promoting this on his Facebook page of late, and looking forward to seeing McGuffey Lane tomorrow night.
Something that we all told you about, earlier this week, the Bash for Veterans. That's down in Pike County.
Oh, yeah. Let me just roll through these because I can't quite see them to go along with what you're saying. Yesterday we had the conversation with Stacy Boroff and also Bob Leach about the PACT Act. This is for your weekend viewing. If you go to our YouTube channel, you'll find that interview on there under a new playlist called Litter Media Live Special Edition. So you'll find some of our special edition conversations we had there, including the one this week with the Scioto Township Fire and EMS about their starting of full-time staffing, which will take place next week. Don't forget, the Penn Olympiad is coming up April 15th, and there's still time for kids who want to participate in this. We talked with Hunter Rajon here several weeks ago in regards to this Penn Olympiad. What that stands for is everything neuroscience. So it's the power in neuroscience. So if you want to find out more, you can get the complete details on this QR code. It'll take you right to where you need to go, or you can listen to the interview that we have on our YouTube channel. Earlier this week, Wednesday, they handed out these pens to the to the veterans of the Vietnam War, celebrating or commemorating 50 years of service. And here's a lot of the Vietnam veterans who were there. Well, after this ceremony, they went out to the Veterans Administration Hospital and they handed out quilts. There were nearly, I believe, 60 quilts that were passed out to veterans. And so thank you to Mary Mace and Connie Meyer for getting these photos to us of some of these beautiful quilts that were made and donated by a group of quilters.
That's neat. I like that one. That's really neat.
And now back to the Bash for Vets. That is tomorrow, and that starts at, they open up the doors at 4:30.
4:30.
First band will play at 5. That's Hunter Jordan, and Felony 4 will take over from 8 until 11 p.m. If you want to learn more about this, the interview that Mike did with Nicholas Smith earlier this week is also on our YouTube channel under that special edition playlist. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And wrapping up with some road projects in our area up in Pickaway County. This begins Monday. These 3 separate projects, US 22, US 23 interchange will have daily lane restrictions from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. for interchange improvements. Also, the intersection of State Route 674 and Bell Station Road will close. That'll be through April the 7th for culvert replacement. And finally, US 23 northbound and southbound between State Route 316 and the Franklin County line will have daily lane restrictions, also 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that will take place starting Monday through October for resurfacing and crossover removal.
All right, so there you have a lot of information that you'll find on our website as well, littermedia.com. We do have sports to share with you. We'll have that in a moment, along with our This State in History feature as well. McDonald's, Circleville, Greenfield, Waverly, and 4 locations here in Chillicothe. If you're looking for work, they're looking for you. They're paying $15 an hour for those who want to become crew members, up to $20 an hour if you want to be a manager. How about that?
I like that.
And in visiting with a lot of the folks at McDonald's, we've learned that many of them started out in the crew. Next thing you know, they're running the place.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool. And, of course, one of the top awards is a Ray Kroc Award, most recently won by Damon Campbell, who's now bouncing from Waverly to a couple of other locations as well.
I have that picture in my head of him just kind of bouncing around.
Bouncing off the Gordon Arches here and there. He probably feels like that because he's juggling a lot of things. Daughter playing at softball, Piketon, and the whole deal, too. So, McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
Coming up, a look at sports next.
The estimated hold time is now less than 96 minutes. Thank you for your patience.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
Hi, I'm Dave Pinkerton with Advanced Services Heating and Cooling, your local heating and cooling expert. If you want quality service, quality installation, give Advanced Services a call, 740-773-4499.
At Rathkamp Financial, we offer customized investment solutions and superior client service. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
Pickaway Ross CTC Adult Education. They have plenty of opportunities for you if you are interested in the health technologies, RN, medical assisting, phlebotomy, practical nursing, nurse aides. If you want a skilled trade, how about electrical, HVAC, maintenance, power lines, welding, and emergency public safety as well. All courses available through Pickaway Ross Career and Technology Center Adult Education. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it will take you right to their website where you can learn more about their offerings for adult education at Pickaway Ross CTC. Sports time.
A lot of local coaching news. Southeastern High School has filled the vacancy left with a resignation of OHS VCA Hall of Fame coach Lori Coker. Ashton Ward, a former player of Lori's when she was at Zane Trace, she will become the new head coach of volleyball at Southeastern High School. She also played volleyball down at Rio Grande. This is her first head coaching position. Westfall High School is still seeking applicants for their vacant boys basketball position after Christian Meister stepped down following this past season. A former coach and a friend of ours, Norma Shar, passed away. Actually, she passed almost a month ago, but this news just coming to our attention.
Yeah, she passed away on the 6th of March, 93 years young. And I shared this on the CHS Alumni Association All Class Reunions Facebook page. A lot of different comments coming in. I remember her being my gym teacher either at Worthington or Smith, maybe both. A great softball and track coach. She cared so much for all of her players and students. Many fond memories. Mrs. Shar was my softball coach. I have many fond memories. Even when she worked our butts off, she drove us, several of us, in her car with her little white dog to one of the playoff games, which was a great memory. And the memories just continued to flood in. And it was obvious that folks here in Chillicothe had not heard about her passing. But Haller Funeral Home released her obituary, and we appreciate Mike and Matt and the guys doing that and making sure that we all learned more about Norma. Brought back a lot of good memories.
Did she ever coach girls basketball?
I believe 1 year.
I thought she did.
I think Debbie Pentecost was the first coach, and I think Norma either stepped in or maybe was an assistant. But I think at 1 year she was the head coach as well. But she coached tennis. She coached, she was a bowler, an avid bowler. And so
assistant AD for a while, too.
Assistant athletic director for a long time with Tom Cuppett as well. So very nice lady. And a member of the CHS Athletic Hall of Fame back in 2013.
Yeah. Sticking with Chillicothe High School, graduate Javon Moffmer has been selected to the NCCAA Men's Basketball All-America third team.
And we should say Javon.
Yes. Javon. Led the Jackets, or Yellow Jackets, to an 18-11 record, had averaged around 17.8 points per ball game, and also earned a first-team selection to the All-NCCAA Midwest region. I believe that stands for National Christian Collegiate Athletic Association.
Yeah, playing at Cedarville. He's got one more year at Cedarville. And I tell you, this kid, watching him as a freshman, he was interesting to watch, but now he is a man.
Yeah.
He's like 6'4", probably weighs close to, I'm going to guess, 220, 230.
Yeah. And
he can still play some ball, man.
Got the hops. I wish the Reds had the hops yesterday. Got down 4-1. Actually, they were ahead 1-0.
Yeah.
Got behind 4-1. Tied the game at 4-4. Got behind 5-4. Just couldn't get the big hit when they needed it. They're off tonight. They'll be back with the Pirates in Cincinnati for Game 2 of that weekend series tomorrow.
I'm going to be honest. I knew everyone in the lineup except for the Vossler kid. And I thought, as soon as I saw him, I thought, well, this is going to be a trivia question at some point, or he is an answer to a trivia question. Who started on opening day in 2023? It wasn't Joey Votto at first base. It was Vossler. I don't even know his first name.
Yeah, and he was where last year?
I do not know.
They were talking about it, and I can't remember where they said he was.
But I do know that he had the big 2-run triple. And so that I thought, okay, he might be another answer to a trivia question. Who tied the game?
Yeah.
Well, it was the Vossler kid.
The news not any better for the Cleveland Guardians. They were blanked out in Seattle late last night by a score of 3-0. Back indoors for sports. The NCAA Women's Final Four opening tonight in Dallas, Texas.
Why is it not showing? We've got a graphic for it, but it's not showing.
We're not trying to slight the ladies here.
It looks like I was distracted and I didn't.
The guys are going to get slighted too. That's okay. Equal time. NCAA Women's Final Four tonight. The men's semifinal is tomorrow. There's a day that's staggered there. So the women's championship game would be on Sunday night, where the men's championship game in Houston will be on Monday.
This looks far better than our lovely faces, doesn't it?
Yes. This is called a brownout. Yes. Not completely off, but dim with a brownout.
There we go. We've got the Blue Jackets.
And this actually went to overtime before the Bruins beat them by a score of 2-1.
I guess they had several fisticuffs in this game, too.
Aw, really?
Yes.
In hockey?
Even the captain got involved.
Yeah.
Knocking people around and everything. So yeah, in hockey, you'll find that.
When we wrap up, we're going to take you back to 1776 and evidence that maybe women did have a say in the household, or at least whether it led to change, at least they had a say when it came to their husbands.
All right, so that's just ahead. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. If you have an issue with any one of those services in your home, there's a wide territory that they service. South of Columbus, all the way up to Columbus, south down to Portsmouth, and then all the way over to Dayton, and all the way over into the eastern part of Ohio as well. Get more details when you click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. Coming up, this date in history next.
This is Big Chillicothe. Horizon's 100% fiber internet service is coming to your area. Call 740-772-8331 or visit horizonconnects.com/Chillicothe. Sign up today.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Just ahead, a radio memory, but first, let's take a look at this date in history.
You might remember earlier in the week when we had our Revolutionary War bicentennial minute, it was talking about the role that women played in the Revolutionary War, too. Well, this is documented 1776 in a letter that Abigail Adams writes to her husband, John Adams, future president, urging him and the other members of the Continental Congress not to forget about the nation's women when fighting for America's independence from Great Britain. The future First Lady wrote in part, quote, "I long to hear that you have declared an independency. And by the way, in the new code of law," I can just hear this. "By the way, in the new code of laws, which I suppose it'll be necessary for you to make, I desire you would remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. Do not put such unlimited power into the hands of the husbands. Remember, all men would be tyrants if they could. If particular care and attention is not paid to the ladies, we are determined to foment a rebellion and will not hold ourselves bound by any laws in which we have no voice or representation." I bet he didn't get any supper that night if he didn't say, "Okay, honey, whatever you say," back in 1776.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like she was a statesperson as well.
I think she wore the petticoat and the pants in that family. Maybe John Adams was just a figurehead president. Maybe Abigail was actually
Send
calling
your
the
cards
shots.
and letters to Mike Smith, Litter Media. Or better yet, just use the email address that shows up on the page here. All right. Tomorrow is April 1st. And during our radio days, and a lot of morning zoo type radio stations and everything, they would always do some kind of wacky thing, or they would change the format or something like that of their radio stations. We decided to take the high road on this, due in part to the fact that we received notification from our lawyers that don't do this on April Fool's Day. And one of the things we talked about doing, this was during our Norse rooftop remote broadcasts, was giving away Toyotas.
Mm-hmm.
And what we were saying was toy Yodas.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, they were a Toyota dealership as well. And the lawyers got involved and says, do not do this because we have too many penalties to pay.
Yeah.
Basically is what they're saying. And, you know, on a radio salary, you couldn't pay for a new car. So
I know the FCC even put out some notices to radio stations across the country that were putting out, like, I mean, some of them were so ridiculous. If you had a brain about where you live, you would know that's not true. Like Maine, a volcanic eruption.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that station got fined a couple $100,000, and because it started a panic because we have a volcano in Maine, you know, kind of like the Martian invasion, H.G. Wells back in '38. Yeah. So the FCC doesn't take too lightly to some of those practical jokes.
Because let's be honest, a radio station or a TV station is on the air to inform you of what's going on in case of an emergency. And all the programming that you watch and enjoy, that is fluff.
Yeah.
When it comes to it, just something to keep. It's to keep you entertained in between the emergencies.
Between disasters. Which, you know, the thing of it is how people have become accustomed when we've had these terrible weather, severe storm outbreaks where TV stations they'll stop all their programming, and they've got people calling like crazy. I don't care about the F5. I want my TV show back on. So it's kind of crazy to let people get goofed up about shows like that.
I've had programs that were disasters in between disasters. So it's like, please, somebody save me. Push the button. Get us off the air. But that's one of our radio bits. No April Fool's jokes from Dan and Mike. We tried to adhere to the letter of the law, keep our lawyers happy, and to also, I guess, just be the good guys that we are.
Yeah. I won't see much of my wife the next 2 days because she's hosting a tournament, so I won't be able to play any tricks on her. So I'll be by myself. I'll be playing tricks on myself, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean I'm not going to lunch today? Are you kidding me?
I thought maybe you could pull a quick little trick on her and say, hey, I'm going to be there. In fact, I'll even work that back line for you. April Fools.
Not.
See? So don't fall for any jokes in that regard.
No jokes.
So, all right, that's it for the program today. Thank you for watching. We have several things planned for next week, so don't forget about us. Take a look at what we have for you on our YouTube channel for weekend viewing. Go back and see some of the stuff we've shared with you here on Facebook. Twitter, if you want to get the current stuff, Litter Twitter is the way to go. Mike will keep you up to date on all the sports that's going on this weekend if they are permitted to play.
Severe weather tonight, if that happens, we'll have that out there for you.
And if you want to see what the radar is doing, always take a look at littermedia.com, and it's right there for you. It's interactive. You can move it around wherever you want to go. So if you've got Aunt Lucy watching in California right now, you can zoom in on California, Aunt Lucy, and you can say, oh, this is what we have going on here. Mm-hmm. And you can share with that. So that's it for the show. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you in April. No fooling.